Hey guys, Richard here with CRG Games, and welcome back to part 4 of our comprehensive selling guide for TCG games online. This title gets longer every time. So, last time we covered prepping your inventory and what things you need to do to make sure that you're set up to sell and you're set up for success. So, today we're going to cover picking a platform. So, there's a handful of platforms that most people go with, and we're going to cover these ones and kind of like the pros and cons of each one. Before I begin, if you'd like to support the channel, crggamesllc.com. Go ahead and pick up a couple booster packs and helps me out a ton. And yeah, you can crack some packs and hopefully get something good. So appreciate you guys for watching, and let's get into it. So picking a platform. This is assuming you've done all the legwork already. You've gotten your equipment, all your cards are sorted, they're alphabetized, they're boxed up, they're on the racks, they are ready to go. Keeping in mind that you can skip a couple steps here and there, but this is where we're picking up at. You need to pick a platform. What are you going to sell on? Now, we're going to focus on TCG Player, but I'm going to talk about the other ones as well. So, TCG Player, what are the pros? Well, for one, it's got the largest audience. TCG Player it's made for TCGs, tradingcardgameplayer.com. You're not going to find, I don't think, a better platform at the moment. Now, it's got a lot of seller tools that are tailor-made for helping you to list and sell your cards, as well as some of the other things we talked about with Quick List. And you got TCG Direct, you've got TCG Store Your Inventory, all of those things. So for the most part, TCG Player is probably going to be the one that you want to sell on, starting out. However, the cons are it's highly competitive, and you can go on any card, any product, and you just see sellers trying to, get to the bottom, like who's got the cheapest price, who's got the cheapest price. Now, it is kind of nice that they have a rating system and there's feedback and things like that, so you can see, all of those sellers, what's the rating. Are they gold star? Are they a brick and mortar? All of those things. So that's why I think TCG Player is the nicest. But also, it's not hard to sell on TCG Player by any means. It's just super competitive. And with the fees, they are higher because they offer more. You're probably going to make less money on TCG Player unless you can just get your stuff for dirt cheap. Next is eBay. So eBay did just acquire TCG Player, so keep that in mind. But for all intent and purposes, that doesn't really change the way either it acts. With eBay, it's nice because there's an auction format, so you have the potential to get more return on your cards if there are multiple buyers. A lot of times for unique cards like signed things, stuff that's very expensive, I might go towards eBay. That way you can get it into a lot of different eyes looking at it. Because with eBay, you're not just going to get people that are looking for cards. You're going to get people that maybe didn't know they wanted to buy cards. Maybe they invest in paintings or memorabilia, and they happen to see your card. That's a potential sale waiting to happen. They do have an authentication service, which is pretty nice, and you can see when you look at a listing, it'll say like eBay certified or authenticated or whatever it says. The fees I find are slightly lower, although not by much, so I really wouldn't count that a whole lot. But you do get that broader audience, which is really nice. Now, on the flip side, it's not focused towards TCG play, trading card games. Its focus is very broad. You can post just about anything on eBay for sale. And that's part of the broader audience part. So just because you posted on eBay does not mean you'll necessarily get views. You can't see the views that you get on TCG Player. You can on eBay, which is kind of nice. So you can gauge, what kind of engagement you're getting on the post. But that's really the thing for eBay. For most people, if you're listing a lot of cards, you're not going to be able to smoothly and easily do that on eBay either, although they are getting better at that. And searching is not necessarily optimized for trading cards. You have to put in a lot of different stuff to like get the exact things that you want. But eBay's a good alternative to TCG Player. Then you've got Facebook. So Facebook is great because there are a lot of groups that are dedicated to trading card games. Pokemon, Magic, you name it. There's probably a Facebook group for it. So you've got a huge audience. I think there's probably over 1 billion people that use Facebook. Facebook does have its own advertising system built in. Now it's called meta advertising. So you can promote your listings if you want to spend the money to do that. So you've got a couple things there with Facebook that you don't have with TCG Player, and you kind of don't have with eBay. You can promote listings on eBay, but it's not the same as Facebook. Facebook is nice because you can, target your groups by posting them, where you want. If you're using advertising, you can, target different audiences to help get your cards in front of more people. Now, it's not TCG focused. That's one of the cons. It's just Facebook that happens to have a marketplace. So you're not guaranteed to get your stuff in front of a bunch of different people. But, you've got that larger audience, so it kind of balances out. I mean, it's not, as you can see, in the cons there, it's not designed for trading card games. It's just kind of like eBay with a very wide variety of things that you can, choose to list. But there's no vetting service for sellers, really. You can check out someone's seller profile, and sometimes they'll have feedback in there, and that'll give you an idea of, whether they're legit or not. But really, if you're selling through Facebook, you're kind of on your own unless you're using PayPal to conduct those transactions. So if you do that and you sell on Facebook, Facebook does have their own transaction methods and things like that, but most people are going to be using PayPal. You're just kind of on your own, so you need to make sure that you're taking safety precautions when you're buying or selling on Facebook. Then you've got Card Kingdom. So Card Kingdom's been around for a long time, since 1999. They're super popular for buy listing cards. I know a lot of people use them for that. If you want to offload a bunch of bulk or like bulk rares or different cards, Card Kingdom will generally buy those and seal product, but no loose packs. I find their pricing's fair, and they're overall pretty good, although they're not as big as TCG Player. Now, it's not an open marketplace for sellers in the way that TCG Player is, so you don't get, you don't like search a card, then you get to see all of these different sellers and stuff, at least that I found when I was, kind of using it. And for buy listing sealed, they'll only do it after 2 years from release, so you can't like buy list new stuff. So Card Kingdom, I've never sold on there. I've bought from Card Kingdom before. You may not have as much success on Card Kingdom as you will, with other platforms. And then you've got Whatnot, and I didn't used to have Whatnot on here, but I just added it because I've used Whatnot, and I do like the service. So the cool thing about Whatnot is it's a live selling service. So what you'll do is you'll either go live, you're streaming, you'll either go live with your phone, you'll have all of your products there for sale, or you'll have a specific, section of products that you're showing, and then people can buy those, using their phone or desktop, whatever mode of use they're using. Most people are going to be using it on mobile. Whatnot is kind of focused on mobile, and that's one of the things that I would see as a con. I use desktop mostly. I don't access Whatnot through mobile very much. And when you're selling, so for example, I use OBS. I use my Shure microphone and my Elgato face cam and then my Elgato key lights. When you're streaming, the tools available to you are not the same depending on what device you're using. So like an iPhone has by far the best support from Whatnot. Android's probably a close second, and desktop's third. It always feels like, new things will come out for iPhone users, and then it'll say like coming soon to Android, and then say nothing about desktop. So the seller experience is not the same depending on what platform you're using it on. And by far, I think it might be the worst if you're using it, through like OBS. Now, the other thing that I really don't like is because it's dedicated to mobile, essentially, you're limited in the space that you can stream, that you can show, because you're limited to like a portrait mode on a cell phone. So everything's got to like fit in this one narrow box. I don't like that. As far as like fees go, they're not too bad. There's a couple things I do like about Whatnot. The fees, I believe, are fair. They do offer instant payout when you mark something as shipped, which is very nice. It does take a while to get there. You either have to sell $100,000 or have to complete 1,000 sales. So I've completed like 1,600 sales on there. And I do have instant payout, although I haven't used Whatnot in just a bit. Margins can be higher, and that's something that I was not expecting when I started. The reason being, this part I don't necessarily like, is on Whatnot, people mostly overpay for products. You'll see like listings, you'll see people buying booster packs left and right for way more than they should be going for, like on TCG Player. But the reason being is because you are offering an experience. And that's actually one of the cons. Your personality plays a huge role in your success. There are a lot of streams. Even the couple months that I was doing it regularly, there were a lot of streams that would come and go. And if you don't have something that like hooks your audience, or your personality just doesn't play towards that type, you're probably not going to be successful. That's the thing. You also have to be live mostly to be selling. So you got to be there, you got to be streaming. You're probably going to have days where you stream for hours and you don't sell anything, or you sell very little. And then if you're successful, you'll have days when you stream and you sell, over $1,000. It's really widely varied in the experience. So you got to put a little bit more into it, because you need to have good audio, you need to have good lighting, you have to have a setup, you have to stream. But the fees are okay. The buyers pay shipping, which is good. Although it's a little bit high depending on what you're selling. Like if someone buys just a single, it doesn't matter what they buy. You can't ship in a plain white envelope. You have to ship as a tracked package. You do not have an option. And you either have to use an 8.5 by 11, or you have to use a 6 by 4 label. So you have to have a 6 by 4 label maker. When I started, I didn't necessarily know that. I just had 8.5 by 11, so I was cutting those out, trying to get things out. And then I got my 8.5, my 6 by 4 printer. Perfect. Everything's great. So that is nice that buyers pay shipping on there. You mostly don't have to do anything for that. But it's still growing. They're updating the service. They're just lacking a lot of different little things that I personally like. So you need to pick which platform you want. We are going to be focusing on TCG Player. Now, this is a shorter section. In the next section, we're going to go through listing and selling cards and things like that. So stick around. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you want to support the channel, crggamesllc.com. Pick up a couple booster packs. And if you want, I'll even crack them here, on YouTube. If you message me and you want a box of something, most of the products that I have available, I have boxes of. I haven't opened every single thing. I just have them listed per pack. If you want to grab a box, shoot me a message. I'll give you a price. And if we come to a deal, we'll crack it on YouTube. I will give better prices if we do that. And then I'll ship them out to you, all expenses paid and all that good stuff. So, yeah, until next time, catch you guys later.